Welcome back, Coven, to our new episode on our podcast. I know I'm excited. How about you all?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for episode 3. Guys, we might look like we're freezing. We are. It's very cold in here right now. But welcome back to Salem's Ghostly Coven. Guys, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you guys get notified every time we post a video. Tonight, we are going to have one of our followers as a special guest. He will be joining us later on.
No, but if any of y'all want to join, just get a hold of us and let us know.
Yeah, get a hold of us anytime. We would love to have you on. So without further ado, sit back, relax, grab a snack, and let's get to it. So let's go ahead and get into our haunted location of the week. We got the Stanley Hotel. It is located in Estes Park, Colorado. It was constructed by a man named Freeland Oscar Stanley, and it opened its doors on July 4th in 1909. It served as the inspiration for Stephen King's 1977 novel, The Shining. The Stanley Hotel has a very large haunted reputation.
I would love to go, for real.
It is known as the most haunted hotel in the U.S. Yeah. So the entire U.S., out of all the hotels, it is the most haunted.
I did not know that.
So let's go ahead and get into the haunted areas. First one, room 217. Yeah. This is the room that Stephen King actually stayed in when he came to the Stanley in 1974. It is said to be haunted by the former hotel housekeeper, Elizabeth Wilson. Legend says Elizabeth died after an explosion at the hotel in 1911.
Sorry, guys, we hear something walking.
Every time we start into this stuff, something goes on. Well, Stephen King stayed in this room. He claimed that after he checked in and he went to the room to put his set his luggage down and he left the room to kind of go a walk around and stuff. When he came back, he says all of his stuff was put away neatly. And that is a big claim in that room, that people will set their luggage down, leave, and their stuff gets put away for them. So that's why a lot of people believe that Elizabeth Wilson is the one occupying that room. Today, also guests claim that when they're in the bed, they feel a cold presence laying in the bed with them. Could you imagine you're laying there rolling over and you see this housekeeper just laying in bed with you?
Chocolate on your pillow?
Yes. But that's really a big hot spot. A lot of people might know it from when Shane Dawson went there.
I did see that one.
Collected a couple things. That was like really what put the room back on the map again. Okay, our second location is the Grand Staircase. So this is the most notable place, like when you walk into the hotel, is this big, beautiful Grand Staircase. Guests believe today that the staircase actually has a portal on it, and that is what is allowing the spirits to come and go out of the hotel, which is kind of creepy to think about. But this is actually the spot where a very well-known photo was captured of a woman standing on the top of the staircase. The third room is the billiard room. Now, this room is said to have the former owner, Mr. Stanley, staying in it. So he likes to hang out in there. People have claimed to have seen him sitting at the bar, enjoying a drink and having a smoke. And then last but not least, the caves. So I did not know this, that the Stanley Hotel had caves running underneath it.
I didn't either.
But they had these caves to allow access for the employees to come in and out.
Okay, I understand.
So I can understand. It's kind of like how Waverly was, the death tunnel that allowed staff to come in and out without having to go through the main thing. People claim they smell baked goods in here.
Really?
In the caves, yes. So a lot of people think that it's the pastry chef, the former pastry chef, that's just kind of lurking in the caves.
Makes sense if they're smelling bakery stuff.
Which I think that would be really good. You go in a cave, which I hate caves, but going in a cave and you coming across, cookies and breads and all that. So
maybe that's how you'll get one in a cave.
Maybe, just maybe. But yep, so that is our haunted location of the week. We're going to go ahead and move on to the cryptid of the week.
This is good, guys.
Yeah. So this week we have the Jersey Devil. The Jersey Devil is a legendary creature. It is said to inhabit the forest at the Pine Barrens in southern New Jersey. So, it is described to have the body of a kangaroo. Yeah, I know, this is really weird. The face of a horse or a goat. Yeah. It is to have leathery bat wings. Horns, small arms, clawed hands, cloven hooves, and a forked tail. So like a little devil's tail.
Oh, so this sounds like it comes straight out of there.
Yeah. But according to folklore, the Jersey Devil originated from a Pine Barren resident, Deborah Leeds. And everybody knew her as Mama Leeds or Mother Leeds. So Mother Leeds had 12 children. And then she discovers she's pregnant with her 13th child. And she was mad, okay? She was pissed that she was pregnant again. So she absolutely lost it. Like I said, she cursed the child out of frustration and declared the child would be the devil.
It's not the child's fault.
Exactly. I'm thinking, well, you shouldn't have. That's on you, lady.
Yeah.
But so on a stormy night in 1735, the child is born. This 13th child is finally born. The baby comes out completely normal. The legend says within minutes, it turned into what people know the Jersey Devil as of today. There has been a ton of stories of the Jersey Devil. People have reported it has a high-pitched, blood-curdling scream. So that's one way to distinct, like, okay, that's the Jersey Devil is when you hear that. But then also people's like, oh God, it's coming to get me. There have been many sightings. People claim to have found footprints, so the clothed footprints. And people's animals have been attacked. And that's one like reason that people's like, what's going on here? And they kind of started figuring, oh, the Jersey Devil's getting our, cattle. But still to this day, people claim they see the Jersey Devil.
I won't know if I see something like that.
Do you imagine seeing something with like a horse or a goat face, bat-like wings, the body of a kangaroo, flying around?
That's horrible. Can't believe that mother would curse her child like that and then pops
You would think they would have known how it happened at that point, You keep having, kids. It's...
Yeah. Come on now. I wouldn't mind to go, though, just to see.
Yeah,
just
I would kind of like explore. It'd be kind of like a Mothman thing. Just kind of like, I wouldn't want to encounter it by any means, but go to that area because...
I like to see it from a distance.
Yeah. Look at it from a distance.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into our shout out of the week. Our shout out of the week goes to Shelby Sparrow for a 7-week streak on our Facebook and our TikTok posts.
Thank you, Shelby.
Yeah, thank you, Shelby. We're going to go ahead and get into the scary stories. So, our first story is from Emma. And Emma says, one night while staying at my grandparents' house, I thought I saw my grandmother standing in the doorway. I got up and turned on the light. No one was there. I looked into the hallway and saw no one. I went back into the room, turned off the light, and crawled back into bed. I looked up, and once again, there was something standing in the doorway. I jumped out of bed and ran to the light switch. Once again, turning the light on, nothing was there. I went room to room checking to make sure everyone was in bed. Grandma was asleep, Grandpa was asleep, and my brother was asleep. So I went back into the room. Confused by what I had seen, I turned the light off and got back into bed. After a few minutes, I dared to look at the door, and once again, there it was. I laid on my back, trying to ignore it in hopes it would just go away. I was too afraid to close my eyes, but all of a sudden, it came close to the bed, almost as if it was hovering over top of me. I squeezed my eyes closed, pretending to be asleep. Let's just say I didn't sleep at all that night.
That just gave me chills. Could you imagine? So sorry, Emma, but yeah. That give me chills.
It makes you wonder what it was. Like,
I wouldn't want to go back to sleep either. I can't believe she even got up to even check.
No, I wouldn't have either. I just laid there and been like, head under the blankets. That freaked me out.
Yeah.
Our next story is from Josh Beck on YouTube. Josh says, I wanted to send you all my story. Back in 2003, my grandma passed away. I was very close with her. Immediately after she passed, I started having weird dreams. I was at her funeral, but it was dark, only lit by candlelight. But the candles were all red, and there was these strange people sitting around with black veils on. It scared me so bad I woke up. I then started feeling like something with long nails was gently scratching my back. I was afraid to turn around. I closed my eyes, pretending to sleep. That's when I started smelling my grandma's white diamonds perfume. That's what my grandma used to wear. I know my grandma wasn't there. I believe whatever was there was trying to take my grandmother's form.
I've been scared to death, especially like feeling the nails like that on your back.
Like scratching at your back. Thank you, Josh, for that terrifying.
I was gonna say, there's some terrifying stories.
Yeah. Okay. Our last story for this week is from Rhonda, one of our followers. She said, my aunt's house looked like an old barn, but she lived in the city. Later on, we found out the upstairs neighbor had passed away, and he was there for a week before they found his body. Oh God!
Like
he had passed and nobody knew he was up there. But we kept hearing footsteps for the first 5 days before they even found him. Maybe he was trying to alert us he was gone. Maybe he didn't know he was dead. But every time we heard them after that, we knew it was him. I was maybe in second grade when this happened.
Yeah, I kind of think that maybe he was trying to let y'all know, hey, I've moved on, I passed away, come up here. Or...
Yeah, because could you imagine if nobody would have found him for a long period of time? Like, I've seen those type of photos where somebody passed and nobody knows it, and they just like rot. I couldn't imagine.
No way.
And guys, unfortunately, Caitlin could not be with us tonight. Something came up, but Caitlin usually will help me out with the serial killers of the week, and luckily she sent me her notes. So let's go ahead and get into the serial killer of the week. So the serial killer of this week is Herb Baumeister. He is a local serial killer. He's from Indiana.
Did not know that.
Herb was born on April 7th in 1947 in Indianapolis, Indiana. He was the oldest of 4 kids, and he was raised pretty normal. But by the time he got a little older, his siblings and friends began to see signs and traits that weren't normal. By the time Herb was a teenager, he was talking about how he wondered what human urine tasted like, urinating on his teacher's desk, and playing with dead animals. It always starts with the dead animals.
That's what I was going to say.
His father soon took him to get evaluated and was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia and antisocial personality disorder. So fast forward to June of 1980 through October of 1981, Herb would receive the title as the I-70 Strangler. Herb had a knack for going to gay bars, picking up, men, young boys, and strangling them and then dumping them on I-70. Well, as time went on, he purchased $1 million estate. So the fun fact is, Herb actually started Save-A-Lot.
Seriously?
Yes.
What the frick?
Small world after all. So after his millions he made, he buys this $1 million estate and calls it Box Hollow Farm. So after this, he purchases the I-70 stranglings stop. Wonder why, right? This would lead to police to suspecting him of committing these heinous murders incognito. It wouldn't be until 1994 until Herb's 13-year-old son would be walking around and came across a human skull. And that's when people's suspicions became a lot higher. In 1996, investigators went to Fox Hollow Farm and would find dozens of skeletal remains buried in the woods in the property. So he was still going to the gay bars, picking up these young men and boys, bringing them back to his $1 million estate killing them and then dumping their bodies just like
wherever
on his property. With suspicions being high, Herb fled Indiana and went to Canada.
Okay. And
then eventually he took his own life because he knew he was caught at that point. They only accounted 21 deaths to him, but to this day they're still finding human remains. And what I just seen recently, they are still identifying victims. And they have found over 10,000 bones on his property. A lot of people might know Fox Hollow Farms because Ghost Adventures went there and they did an investigation at the Fox Hollow Farm. I don't know. I really didn't look into it to see if we could still do that, but yeah.
Could you imagine how many bodies they found just on, I-70? And then here he is, he bought a property. He's like, I think I might get caught. Might as well buy $1 million, farm. Get rid of my victims there. That's crazy.
Which I didn't know really too much about the I-70 stranglings, but I knew some about Herb Baumeister just because, I seen it on the Ghost Adventures and then find out, a serial killer from Indiana. So it kind of piqued my interest. And then I ended up getting this book for Christmas last year that had a bunch of killings, stuff that happened in Indiana, and his story was in there. So it's pretty eerie.
Yeah, it is.
So thanks, Caitlin, for getting the info for me. So without further ado, I guess let's go ahead and bring Gerald on.
Sure.
Okay. Is our very special follower. He's been following us since day one.
Yes.
He has been so loyal to us. We can't thank him enough, and we love him dearly. Do you want to introduce yourself, or?
Yeah, I'm Gerald Fritz.
Yep.
I live in a little town in Oklahoma called Telequa.
Long way from Indiana.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming on with us tonight. We appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure.
Awesome. You ready to get in?
I'm ready.
Okay. I guess I'll ask you just a couple questions, so our followers can get to know you a little bit and kind of answer some questions for us too.
Okay.
When did you get paranormal?
Well, it all started when I was about 8 years old. There was a story I sent y'all called the Sam Carl Pumpkin Hauler this past week. That actually got my interest in the paranormal because I actually witnessed that car.
Really?
And yeah, and the part I left out due to the couple guys' families. But 1 year after I seen that car, these two guys was drag racing, and they had a wreck, and one of the drivers got killed. And from what the funeral director told me, he had what they called accordion neck. He had such impact that it basically compressed his neck. Well, the sheriff's department investigated the wreck and all that, and they seen a pair of tracks and it looked like someone had forced them off the road because they're both sets of their tracks went each way, but they didn't have any tracks in the middle, but they had the tracks from that one car going one way, which was towards the river. Then they had the other set that was going this way, and that was an embankment. That's where the guy got killed. And there for a long time, I didn't say anything about it. Then about 3-4 years later, me and my late brother, who passed away in September, was talking because he used to drag race down there. And I was telling him about that, and man, what the car looked. He said, I seen that car too. He said, we were sitting down there at drag race one night. He said, and these headlights come up from behind me. And he said, so I just pulled off the side of the road, and let him go by. He said, now, mind you, this was a long straightaway. It's probably at least 1.5 miles long. It's not straightaway anymore. They made a bridge and it crooked it, so they wouldn't drag race. But he said, after he passed, he went past the bridge. He said he just disappeared. And there ain't no roads from where he disappeared at. It was at least 3/4 of a mile to the next dirt road.
We
And
had stories about phantom cars kind of like around here a little bit. But yeah, I got your story and I was actually going to tell it on next week's, but so you talking about it tonight, that'll go right into next week's episode and stuff. But yeah, that's really freaky.
Yeah. There was a story that one night a car got chased by it. These two girls was driving a car. I guess they lived down there somewhere. Well, they was coming up the holler, and it's like a corkscrew going up the hill. And that car basically tried to run them down and all that. And they get up there to where the intersection is, and they said it just disappeared. So I never had that happen to me.
Thank God. That's
hopefully it never happens to you.
That's I think that'd be the freaky part.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the same year me and my brother had talked about that, I was at it's a state park in a sense, but it's a historical home. They used to call it the George P. Merle home, and now it's called the Hunter's Lodge or something like that. Well, me and my 6th grade class had went down there on our class trip last day of school because we was having a picnic and all that. And they let us tour the house, which I thought was pretty cool because I love history.
Yeah. And
we was touring the house and all that. Well, I had to go to the bathroom. Well, the bathrooms were out back. So I asked the guide, I said, how you get to the bathrooms? To go through the first bedroom. They had 2 bedrooms. They had one on the first floor and they had one on the second floor. Well, 3 bedrooms. 2 on the second, 1 on the first. She said, go through the first bathroom, just make a right, then go down this little hall and go to the kitchen. She said, and go out that back door and it's over to the right by the smokehouse. I said, okay. Well, I made a little joke. I walked through the kitchen. I see these 2 black ladies in period clothing. One had a scrub board, was scrubbing clothes. The other one was peeling potatoes. I said, hello. Well, they never said anything. So I go out and do my business in the bathroom. I'll come back. Same way. They're not there. So I get back to the guy in my group. I said, when do you all hire reenactors? She said, we've never had reenactors here. I said, well, I just saw 2 of them down in the kitchen. I said, 2 black ladies. One had a scrub board, scrubbing laundry, and the other one was peeling potatoes. I said, I can take you right to where I seen them. So she had me take her and my teacher and them down there. And she said, you sure you seen that? She said, see, what area of clothing was it? I said, it's probably late 1830s, 1840s. And my teacher said, if Gerald knows anything, she said, he knows what period of clothing it would be in. She said, he's really good in history. And she said, well, as far as I know, we've never had reenactors. And he said, you mind talking to our site manager? I said, yeah, sure. So they take me to the site manager's office, and he said, I heard you had like a experience. I said, yeah. I said, I had to go to the bathroom, so I walked through the kitchen and all that. I said, I thought you had reenactors. And I retold the story. He said, no. He said, we don't have the funding for them. He said, we'd like to. And after I told him about all the info and all, he said, would you be willing to sign an affidavit saying that you seen it? I said, sure. I was all filled out. I said, I can show you the exact spot if you want me to. He said, well, that won't be necessary. He said, we'll have it on record. Well, later I found out it's in the State Historical Society records now.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah. And because they said that I wasn't the first one, to have an experience there, but I was the first one to have it documented because I actually seen them and tried to make contact with them. So,
Yeah. That's awesome that you've seen that.
Right. And that's a lot of these historical old, stuff people come across, like, especially when it ties to like 1800 Civil War era, it's timeline.
And see, that was a big plantation at one time. And all that land and the houses, and there used to be an old Elks Lodge down there, but all that land belonged to that family.
I guess our next question would be, if there's any location, it doesn't have to be in the United States anywhere, but a haunted location that you would like to go to, where would that be?
Well, my number one choice, actually I got two. Here in the United States, I would love to go to the Stanley Hotel.
Yeah. But ain't that awesome? That's actually what our episode was about tonight, was the Stanley. So that fits in perfect.
Really? Wow, that's cool. Coincidental, huh?
Very
my second one would be I don't know how you say it. It's a French name, but it's where it was the woman that did all the poisons and all that, and she I don't know if she poisoned Louis the 14th and all that, but I heard that there's a lot of paranormal stuff that goes on there.
Oh, I know what you're talking
about. I know what you're talking about too, but I can't pronounce it either. But that's not. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Of course, Dracula's castle, Frankenstein's castle would be cool.
Or I want to go to Dracula's castle.
That's Leva's.
Yeah.
I'm fine with going like anywhere travel wise. Not even paranormal wise. I'd love to go to Germany just to see the Cologne Cathedral, because it's like Gothic, architect with that. But I don't know. Gettysburg's still on my list. Like that's
that one is number one choice. It's always been.
Or that's
up your alley.
Yeah, it's up my alley. But overseas, if we ever got the opportunity to, go across the country, it would be the ancient Ramen.
I didn't know.
I would like to go there.
And then I watched, Project Fear's video. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to go there too. I mean, that place is steeped in history and it's steeped in paranormal.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because you think it's got what do they call those lines?
Oh, it's the key lines, or
yeah. Then you got the Druids. Then you got all that kind of stuff, and
which they say the key lines link directly to Stonehenge.
Did not know that.
So it's like all connected, So that's because they still don't really know what the hell Stonehenge is. It's just like.
Well, that's like Easter Island. Mm-hmm. The statues there. I mean, for a long time, people thought it was just stone carvings. Well, from what I've read, it's supposed to be depictions of what that tribe looked like.
Yeah.
And all that. So, I mean,
it's kind of an odd to think about. Just if you look at the Easter Island heads and just think that's what the people look like.
I wouldn't mind to go see. That'd be pretty awesome.
I'm fine overseas to see certain, but my fear is running into certain curses.
That'd be our luck.
Because people that go to the to the crypts in Egypt, and about the curse. Like if you open the crypt, you're trying to get a curse, and then they still open it and take the mummy, and I'm like,
the one that Howard Carter and them did. Yeah.
That's. I'll probably be the one to open it.
Leva, she.
I really would.
Our last question would be: do you have any other questions before we do the last one? Or?
I don't think so.
Do you have a favorite location we've went to, or a favorite video?
Actually, I do. I got 2 or 3 of them. That's my favorite. But my favorite one is the Hag Cemetery.
Yeah.
It's ours too.
Because, I mean, like I said, I watched that video of you and Leva going down to that trail down to the farmhouse. And speaking of that, you remember how you was wondering what that stone wall was?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a retaining wall to keep the side of the mountain from eroding when it rains. Because a lot of farmers used to do that and all that. And
that makes sense.
But I mean, huh?
We do get a lot of rain here, so that's probably what the wall's there for.
It makes sense. I mean, I had kind of seen it walking down the trail, but never until we really went down there, me and you, and I could see it better. But the lady that actually did our tarot card reading, she's the one that told us about it. And she's like, I'm not sure what that is, but it's kind of eerie how it's just, because it matches to the cemetery wall. And then it's just a random.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's like at night, y'all and the kid went out there and seen that rock that looked like a demon's head.
Oh my God, I know. That was crazy.
I cannot believe that walking out there. I've never seen
that. That's the first time I've ever seen that. We've been out there multiple times.
Yeah, we went over there and I was like, oh my gosh, look at that.
Yeah. It was
Yeah, it was. It kind of made me jump when you first seen it. What in the world?
But that's good to know. I mean, I would say our local investigations, the old hag.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So that's good to know. We're all on the same page.
But yeah, that's sure is a coincidence. I was talking about the Stanley, and it's going to be 4-year-old deal.
That's very weird.
That is on our bucket list too.
Eventually, we're hoping to make it out west. Eventually, it just takes time, and the way the world is right now.
Yeah, one of the places I'd really like to go is Clear Lake, Iowa, and that's the crash site to Buddy Holly, Ricky Valens, the Big Bopper, and Roger Peterson. And I'd like to do a spirit talker box and ask Roger Peterson what happened, if the wings froze up or if it was pilot error.
Yeah,
that would be
because there for a long time people said it's pilot error, but if you think about it, it was subarctic temperatures that night, and it don't take very much for a wing to freeze up.
Right.
And once it freezes up, you lose aerodynamic on it, and you'll go straight down.
Yeah. I would say most likely what happened, but I would like to go there too, and just find out. I mean, I would like to go. There's a lot of smaller places. I mean, you could go to the big locations and stuff, but there are so many smaller places that tragedies happen. Another place I would like to go to is where the Patsy Cline plane crash.
Yeah. Dyersburg.
Mm-hmm. I'd love to. Patsy's my favorite singer, so that's just like the connection. I'd love to.
That's cool. Yeah, I was reading about how when they found Buddy, Richie, and the Bopper and them, and well, of course, Roger, he was entangled in the cockpit, but I read the injuries and damage that they suffered on it. I just hope to God that he took them before they hit the ground.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it was bad.
Yeah.
And same way with Patsy Cline and Cowboy Coco.
I've read the descriptions from people that, found the crash, and I pray they was gone before they hit, because I couldn't imagine. I mean, it's okay. Yeah. Well, you got anything to add? Any questions or anything? All righty, Gerald. Well, thank you so much. We would love to have you on anytime. So anytime you want to come on with us, just let us know. And maybe eventually we can try to get to Oklahoma and we can go check.
Okay.
That would be awesome.
I appreciate it. And you're very welcome too. You're welcome down here anytime.
Well, thank you so much. And we cannot express to you how much we appreciate you being there with us from day one.
It's my pleasure.
Awesome. All righty. Well, thanks so much, Gerald. We'll talk at you later.
All right.
Thanks, Kevin, for tuning in for our podcast for tonight.
Yes. This concludes episode 3 of Salem's Ghostly Coven. Thank you guys so much. And guys, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. And don't forget to follow us on all platforms. And of course, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you guys get notified every time we post a video. And if you would like us to tell your scary story, be sure to email them to us at paranormalcoven13@gmail.com. Or you can always send them to us personally on Facebook. Well, I'm Linda.
I'm Leva.
And it's been Paranormal Coven, guys. Good night.